Hi, my name is Rachel Darvill, and I'm the program biologist of the Upper Columbia Swallow Habitat Enhancement Project. For a bit of background on this project, I would like to turn your attention to the short video that we did at the end of last year called the 2020 Columbia Valley Swallow Project. This current project is essentially a habitat enhancement project, which is a follow-up regarding what we learned about bank and barn swallows in the Columbia Valley last year. The Upper Columbia Swallow Habitat Enhancement Project is a 5-year project from 2021 to 2026, using a multifaceted approach to conserve and enhance habitat for two at-risk swallow species, bank and barn swallows. Bank swallow breeding habitat that has been lost will be restored, and artificial nesting structures will be built to expand and connect habitat in a region known to provide significant breeding habitat for at-risk species facing a sharp population decline. Bank swallows have faced a 98% population loss in Canada over a 40-year period. Also, using a structured approach, we will erect and monitor artificial nesting structures for barn swallows in places where nests are known to be removed due to health or aesthetic concerns, or where current nesting structures are going to be destroyed in future. Greater connectivity and larger breeding areas enhance the areas that colonists such as bank and barn swallows can use, allowing for increased bird abundance. In future years, we will also deploy MODIS tracking devices on bank swallows in order to define the species' large-scale migratory route, including wintering ground locations and locations of stopover foraging habitat. Knowledge of their migratory pathway will help us form international collaborations to provide landscape-level benefits at a larger international scale. But at a regional scale, tracking technology will be used for effectiveness monitoring and to collect information on bank swallows' habitat use at their breeding colonies and during the post-breeding period to locate roosting areas, which will be extremely useful for maintaining habitat connectivity. During the first year of this project, we will finalize the specific locations for erecting artificial nesting structures, for restoration activities, such as resloping banks for bank swallows, and where at least 2 MODIS tracking stations will be erected in 2022. Several potential sites have already been identified for each of these activities. In the first 3 years of this project, at least 8 artificial nesting structures for barn swallows will be built. Artificial nest caps for barn swallows will be provided to private landowners and erected in those buildings already standing, and we will monitor those nest caps as well. There is no silver bullet approach for the design of artificial nesting structures for bank or barn swallows, so we will test different designs, again using a structured approach. Many international and regional organizations are looking to create bank and barn swallow habitat, so this project is timely, as agencies and groups around the world will be able to learn from the work we do here. Also, we will monitor a subset of colonies that have been identified in 2020 for bank and barn swallows, but I want to first mention that while we are focusing largely on those 2 at-risk species for swallow recovery, we're also keeping track of cliff swallow nest numbers in the Columbia Valley. Data from the BC Breeding Bird Survey indicates a strongly decreasing trend in British Columbia and Canada, particularly in the last 20 to 25 years. So we are starting to keep track of their numbers here in the Columbia Valley. Again, the focus will be on monitoring the barn and bank swallows, and we have developed 3 protocols for doing so. One is the barn swallow and nest site detection survey methodology or protocols. The second is barn swallow nest monitoring methods that we have developed. And the third is the bank swallow monitoring protocol. So depending on what you're doing, there's different monitoring forms to go with each different protocol. Some people are looking for barn swallow nests. Some people will be monitoring those nests, and some people are going to be monitoring bank swallow colonies. So there's different protocols associated with all of those activities. For the barn swallow nest description survey methods, it'll cover such things as the purpose, the best time of day to monitor, where and how you want to monitor, and you'll also receive the nest description code sheet and the associated data form. Both of those forms are shown here. So on the left, you have the field data form, and on the bottom right, you have the description code sheet, the nest description code sheet. So if you are unsure what any particular field means in your field data sheet, you just look it up in your code sheet. So for instance, on the field data sheet, you'll see ground to nest bottom as an example, and the fifth column over towards the right. And if you look on the code sheet, you'll see that the description there for ground to nest bottom is the distance from the ground to bottom of nest in centimeters. So I don't expect you to go out to every nest with your measuring tools if possible. And if you have that, that's great. But if you can give your best guesstimate to that distance, that would be fantastic. So secondly, there's the barn swallow monitoring that will take place, and there's a protocol again developed for that. But you will also receive the nest monitoring code sheet and the associated data form for the monitoring of the barn swallow nests. So on the left, we have the field data sheet, and similar to the nest descriptions, you've got the code sheet for the nest monitoring. So for all of the fields on the left, on the data form, on the data sheet, you have your associated code sheet. So if you're unable to determine what any particular field means, such as the nest disturbance on the field sheet, you can look it up on your code sheet, and you can see that there are a number of different types of nest disturbances that you could be seeing at your particular barn swallow nest. And you would record it as such according to the code that's given next to the nest disturbance. So with the bank swallows, it's quite a bit different because the bank swallows have quite a bit of difference in terms, especially of the type of habitat that they utilize for breeding and in types of the breeding activities that they have. So you don't have a code sheet associated with the bank swallow nest monitoring, but you do still have the data sheet. And that is shown here on your right. So it's quite straightforward in terms of the types of information you will want to record. So for example, you have the colony habitat type, and you have different types of natural surroundings, such as the lakeshore bluff or a river that's larger than 3 meters. Or you can find these colonies in different types of human-made habitats as well, such as a gravel pit or a road cut or a railroad cut. So you want to indicate the different habitat that that colony is found in. And there are other types of fields that we will want information for as well. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. It's a key point to realize that we want to visit the colonies that we've selected, ideally 3 times. So the first survey will occur during the 2nd week of June, and the second visit will occur during the 4th week, and the third early July, definitely before July 21st, which is when most of the bank swallows will be leaving their breeding colonies. And again, every colony is totally different. Every survey is totally different. And if you have any questions regarding the bank swallow colony monitoring or the barn swallow monitoring, please do let me know. So finally, I would love to thank our funders and our partner organizations. Their logos are all found here. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My name is Rachel Darvill. I'm the program biologist for the Upper Columbia Swallow Habitat Enhancement Project. And my email is found here. Thank you very much.